Good morning and welcome again to Renfrew North Parish Church. Last Sunday was Pentecost Sunday and we read from the reading from Acts how there was great excitement, the great drama when tongues of fire came upon the first disciples and also what seemed like wind whistling around them, making a wonderful noise, denoting the coming of the Holy Spirit. Well, this Sunday is Trinity Sunday. And on Trinity Sunday, we reflect upon the fact that God manifests himself through the three parts of himself, Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. Quite how that actually happens, we're not totally sure. We try to work out what's going on there, how it is that the one God can be three and one. And in the reading that I'm going to read this morning is one of just a very few examples of where Father, Son and Holy Spirit are mentioned all together in one passage. And this passage can be found at the end of Matthew's Gospel, Matthew chapter 28, verses 16 to 20. Then the 11 disciples went to Galilee, to the mountain where Jesus had told them to go. When they saw him, they worshipped him, but some doubted. Then Jesus came to them and said, "All authority in heaven and on earth has been given to me. Therefore, go and make disciples of all nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father and of the Son and of the Holy Spirit, and teaching them to obey everything I have commanded you. And surely I am with you always to the very end of the age." So yes, that passage does remind us of God being Trinitarian, three in one. But there are two other things that I notice within that passage. First is this idea that Jesus is exhorting or encouraging his disciples and therefore us to go and make disciples throughout the whole world and then baptize them in the name of the Father, the Son and the Holy Spirit. But how do we make disciples? How do we encourage people in these lockdown times? Well, we can maybe chat to people as we're out for our daily exercise, walking through the street, or maybe when we're out shopping, we can put something into the food bank basket as a way in which we can show others of our practical love that God has shown to us. There are these and other ways. We can keep in contact with people through phone or messages, emails, ways in which we can build up those relationships even though we can't see everyone that we would like to see at the moment, and certainly not able to see everyone that we would like to see in church week by week. That was the first of the two things. Thinking of ways in which we can reach out to others through these lockdown times. But thirdly, there was that point that Jesus made at the very end of the passage. And it's a wonderful part of that passage, words of real comfort. I'll read them again. Jesus says, "Surely I am with you always to the very end of the age, to the very end of time. I am with you always." And whatever we're going through difficult times at the moment, or times of being able to meet up with other people, whatever we're doing, whatever we're thinking, whatever we're wanting to hope for in the future, Jesus is with us. And surely these are words of real and great comfort. Next Sunday morning, had we been worshipping here in the church, we would have been celebrating our June communion, a time of sharing in bread and wine as we recall the events of that Last Supper and what Jesus did for us on the cross and being raised back to life. What we're going to do next Sunday is something slightly different. Of course, when we meet together in the flesh, we are together sharing in bread and wine, but we're also meeting spiritually. And that's something that we can do even though we are not physically next to each other. We can meet together spiritually. And so we will celebrate communion through this medium and through the on-call phone system. So prepare for that. If you would like to join in as I break bread here and drink wine and say those words of comfort, prepare for this by getting a piece of bread, maybe some juice or some wine, so that you too can eat bread and drink wine at the same time as we celebrate this here in the church. Of course, if you feel uncomfortable with that, that's not a problem, but you can still watch and be part of everything that's going on and being with each other spiritually. So please do remember that and be part of that next Sunday morning as we do indeed celebrate the sacrament of Holy Communion together spiritually. As always, I would encourage you to keep on praying. Tonight we join together with other Christians throughout Scotland, praying together at 7 o'clock, praying for each other, praying for our nation, praying for this world of ours and all of the tough things that people are going through at the moment. So please do keep on praying, and until next week, stay well and stay safe.